Back once again with the Renegade Master for another Football Manager 2023 experiment. We're back. And today, a little bit of a versus. It's Norway versus Sweden. It's money and rep versus youth rating and youth facilities. We've sort of done this on the channel in different capacity before, but never as a head-to-head. Who will come out on top? Which part of Scandinavia will reign supreme? If any. Let's go find out. Right, so the Norwegian Premier Division is 21st. The Swedish Premier Division is 24th. The Norwegian national team is 35th. And the Swedish national team is 20th. The Sweden have 200 youth rating, as well as, if we look, exceptional youth recruitment, exceptional junior coaching, and state-of-the-art youth facilities. Same through the entire league. So that is what the Swedish league has. They've got the youth rating and youth recruitment. Norway, on the other hand, have finances coming in every single year, as well as reputation, 10,000 for every single club. I'll go down a few. Christensen BK, come on down, 10,000 reputation. We tried reputation with Iceland and it didn't really work. We've tried money with teams, it does work. We've tried youth rating and youth facilities as well, as it does work. So head to head, money and rep versus youth rating and youth facilities. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting experiment. Who will have the leagues rise the highest? Who will do the best internationally? And who will win domestically the most Champions League trophies? We've got three factors that are going to determine the winner here. As I've just said, Champions League trophies, league position, and World Cup and international honours. So Euros and World Cups and position of the national team in terms of rating. But it will fluctuate. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into it. Right, so we're going to stop in at multiple times. We're going to stop in and we're going to look in 15 years' time to see how everything's sort of going. So the Norwegian national team is in 12th. It was 35th. The league was 21st. Where is it? It is 7th. The Norwegian league has rocketed up the charts. As you can see, or as you can't see, no Sweden. Molde seems to be winning it a lot, ahead of Rosenborg. Superb youth facilities, except so of course they will have increased their facilities. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the wheel. Ole's at the wheel. He's been there for 14 years. So Norway have had a decent start to life with all that money and rep. Let's have a look at Molde then. What's their rep saying? 8,500. So they're still representing. Let's have a look at who finished. There we go. Right, we'll do Sogndal. Why did I choose a team I couldn't pronounce? Sogndal? Jerv. FK Jerv. There we go. Easy enough to pronounce. I'll probably still getting it wrong. Over 7,000, so they're still very, very good in terms of reputation. Still doing pretty decent. So all the money that's coming in, I would expect. Look at that. 87 million. Estimated value, £608 million. They've got lots of money. A lot of the teams have got debt. Well, they get the TV deal, £100 million a year. Sweden then. Let's have a look at the Swedish team. National team is 17th, which is only up 3 places, and the league is up in 11th. Oh, so it was only just outside. So the league was 3 places behind Norway to begin with. It is now 4 places behind Norway. The national team was 15 ahead of Norway. It is now behind. So it's a slower start for Sweden, but that's always going to be the case with your youth rate and youth facilities, the players coming through. It's a generational sort of shift. A few players might come through and it might be really decent, but it's not going to be an overnight sort of thing. Looking at the potential ability then of the squad, they've got a 190 here, Erik Lindblom, who looks like a decent player. He actually plays for Manchester City. You've got quite a few players that aren't going to quite reach the potential, unfortunately, but a lot over 150. Speaking of that, how have Norway done? Norway have got 195. That's Erling Haaland, so he's real. And a lot of these players are a bit older, so not doing as well, Norway, in terms of youth rating, but they're not going to, are they? So yeah. Right, so let's have a look at Champions Leagues. Let's have a quick look at Champions Leagues, shall we? Champions Leagues. Past winners then. Madrid, Bayern, Madrid, Barca, Madrid. All Spanish apart from a couple of English and a couple of German. Nothing of note for any of our teams yet, but they are on the rise. Didn't expect a Champions League win this early on. We're not going to check in on the Europa League and Conference League throughout, but I am just going to have a quick look at this juncture, just because I'm slightly interested. But as I can see here, Vålerenga, runner-up to Newcastle in the Europa Conference League final. That appears to be the only team from either nation who has made it to a final of any European trophy whatsoever. And upon double check, I can confirm that is the case. Internationally then, let's have a quick look at England. Sean Dyche in charge. Has Ralph been? It's an early Ralph watch, and it's an early Ralph disappointment. No Ralph Hasenhüttl. Is he still in the game? 15 years in? Probably not. No, he's gone. Right, Ralph's gone. Ralph's gone. So, overview. England have won a World Cup then in 2022. Past winners. England beating Belgium. Italy beating Turkey. Sweden coming third in the most recent World Cup. But you can see here for yourself, gang. Norway beating France in 2030. Erling Haaland's Norway, no less. Let's see. Erling Haaland did get the goal in the World Cup final as well. Look at this go. Look at this for a game. 5-4 after extra time against Colombia. What happened here then? They went 1-0 down. Then Erling Haaland came back, got 2. And then they were 3-2 down. And then he scored in the 87th minute, completing his hat-trick, taking it to extra time. Then they were 4-3 down. Then he scored again to make it 4-4. And then Ola Solbakken, who is now an unemployed coach, scored the winner in 115 minutes of extra time. That is unbelievable. Erling Haaland absolutely dominated this World Cup. Surely Andries Schlederup still going strong at 32 years old, 15 years in. That's how young he is at the start of the game. His contract's expiring very soon from Benfica, and he's joining Al Wada from the UAE. And in 2030, it was Erling Haaland that did win the Golden Boot. Of course he did. 14 goals in his 7 games, an average rating of 9.17. We've got multiple stops on this journey, and I have deliberated and dilly-dallied here in the 15 years into the future so much that it's going to be a long video. So strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying it. If you are, drop a like on the video at this point. Leave your comments and subscribe, of course. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, Norway have won a World Cup in 2030. And wow, the Euros, well, France have won 3 in a row, beating Portugal, England, and then Italy beat Scotland in the most recent final. So nothing for Sweden or Norway in the Euros. But hopefully, in the future, they will. So basically, so far, 1-0 in terms of international trophies to Norway, and that's all we've got. So we're 15 years into the future. What we're going to do now is I'm going to do a bigger jump. It's going to be 35 years to go, so we'll be 50 years in the future, and then that will be the middle stop before we go right to the very end of the experiment, which was about, it should be 100 years, but I think it's about 107, because I'm so generous giving you those extra few years. So 35 years, which will make it 2072. So I'll see you there, gang. Sweden, as a nation, are 6th. That's a huge jump for them. An absolute monster of a jump. And the Premier Division is 9th. Closing the gap, they were 11th. Past winners. Malmo are doing the business, as well as AIK. Gardens popping in with 1 or 2. Norway then. Well, Molde has lost their way a bit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer resigned. Yes, the Norwegian division, it was up in 6th in 2071. It is still in 7th. Was it in 7th last time? So it's maintained its position. Unfortunately, it's not got any higher. Sweden's climbed up a little bit as well. The Norwegian national team's down in 19th. So that's not boding well for the Norwegian national team. Sweden being up in 6th, I'm thinking we could have an equaliser on our hands here. So what we're going to do first, because I think the most likely thing is an international tournament for Sweden, we're going to have a quick look at Champions Leagues. The holders are Barcelona. We were last here in 2037, back here when Man City beat Chelsea. So we've got Man City, Liverpool, City, Atletico. So it's just some of the European bigwigs. Like, no one from Norway or Sweden's won it, which is really disappointing. I'm going back to the Conference League, where we did see Vålerenga here in 2035-36. AIK a couple of years later, coming runner-up against Olympiacos. I said I wasn't going to look at the Conference League and Europa League, but I've changed my mind. I also thought I was going to stop in more time, so it is what it is. Welcome to the channel if you're new. I'm Scatty, and if you've been here before, you expected this, come on. If you didn't, you're lying to yourself. You've only got yourself to blame. You put your seatbelt on, you strapped in for this video. You saw how long it was. You knew I'd be waffling. Get on with it, you're saying. I know, I'm trying. Distracting, innit? Stabek. Norwegian, Stabæk. Runner-up. Brann. Hey, Brann. Brann Stark. Hey, is that right? Found themselves on the throne by winning that game. That was very tenuous, wasn't it? Brann seemed to be the first team to have won one. No, they haven't. Molde won it a few years before. While I'm giving it all that, waffling away, Molde in 2045-46, Brann in 52-53. Stabæk runner-up again. Oh, wow. The first time we've had it. Gothenburg versus Molde in the final. That's Sweden versus Norway. Sweden come out on top. IFK Gothenburg. Gothenburg. And that's the second most recent season. 1 year ago. It was only in February. Of course we are, because the Norwegian and Swedish leagues start in February. Yes. Right. Europa Leagues then. Come on then. Any Europa League takers? Any Europa League? Vålerenga? Hang about. Conference League. Run up in 2036. Europa League. Run up in 2042. How unfortunate. Won a couple of leagues. Now, so the first Europa League wasn't Vålerenga, because Rosenborg won it in 2039-40. And then he won it again in 44-45. And in 2066-67, AIK won against Dunstreede. Dunajska Strida. I regretted clicking on that. And that's very recently as well. So that is it in terms of the European continental competition. Easy for me to say. Let's go and look at international accolades. So Sweden are 6th. So we see here the Euros. After France 3 and Italy won 1, England beat Germany, then England beat Holland, Spain beat France, and then England beat Sweden in 2052. Spain beat Portugal, Spain beat Italy, France beat Germany, and France beat England. So 2052, Sweden came runner-up in the Euros. But in terms of the World Cup, we saw Holland. Portugal won 2 in a row. Italy beating Argentina. Brazil beating Portugal. Italy beating Sweden. So they've come runner-up in 2054 in the World Cup and 2052 in the Euros. So a little golden generation for Sweden that just missed out. Argentina with back-to-back World Cups. England, 3 finals in a row, losing to Argentina and Croatia, sandwiched either side of a win against Switzerland. The only international accolade so far is for Norway, and in terms of European competitions, I've not counted I've not physically counted the tally of Conference Leagues and Europa Leagues up to this point. I will at the end, if I feel like it's the deciding factor. Champions Leagues and international trophies are, my opinion, going to be the deciding factor overall, but we'll see. In terms of the squad then, let's have a quick look at this Swedish national team, and you've got a lot of good players here. A hell of a lot of good players. Parfait Underkamana. Lots of players over 150, 160, 170, and a couple, well, 1 over 180. Well, no, current ability is not, but potential is. A very high potential ability for Sweden. And in terms of the under-21s, again, they've got some really good players that could potentially be coming through. Don't think some of them are going to get there. This guy here, Peter Larsson, no chances he getting to 172. I'm sorry. I mean, we'll never know, because we're going to be jumping forward 50 years now. So this generation of players will be gone. So a quick look at Norway. See, not even one player with potential ability over 160. Quite a few over 150 and 140, but that's it. None over 160, none over 170. None over 180, like Sweden do have. So I think Norway have had their chance to accelerate away from Sweden. Now it's going to be Sweden's turn to take over. We're going to jump through to the end of this experiment, which is another 50 years at least. So I'll see you there. Right, so first off, the Norwegian national team is in 10th. It's actually been down in 15th as recent as 2020, 21-24. We're in 21-25, sorry, by the way, gang. Yeah, so Norwegian national team is in 10th. Not the best. The Norwegian Premier Division, great reputation, is up in 6th. That's not too bad. Vålerenga ripping it up over recent years. They're my bet. Vålerenga or Bodo Glimt have got to have won a Champions League. If they've not done it, no one's done it. Rosenborg might have snuck one. But no, it's Vålerenga or Bodo. What's their reputation? Nearly 10,000, 9,662. Impressive. But the Swedish Premier Division is 3rd. AIK. 9,500. Reputation for AIK. The Swedish league is 3rd, was up in 2nd in 21-20. The national team is currently 4th in the world. I'm going to put it out there. The last 50 years will have been kind to Sweden, and they've definitely taken this experiment. Almost certainly. Where are we going to go first then? Champions Leagues, Conference Leagues, Europa Leagues, Champions Leagues, or international accolades? I think as we've been close with international, I think we're going to go there first because the Champions League's the big one. I really feel like the Champions League's the big one, considering Norway have already won a World Cup and Sweden have come runner-up. I think Sweden probably will have done it. Let's have a look. So, in terms of the Euros, we were last here in 2072. Spain have won it 3 times in a row. But then Sweden in 2084 against England, winning the Euros. And France beating Norway. Norway coming runner-up. Spain beating Sweden, and then Sweden winning again. Sweden have definitely taken it in terms of the Euros so far. Yeah, and that's it. There's no more for Sweden or Norway. Of course, we were back here in 2072. So 2074, Spain beat England. England beat Germany in 2078. Sweden in 2082 have won that World Cup and drawn level with Norway, basically overtaking them because of the European Championship success. England beating Germany again. Germany beating Brazil. Germany beating Spain. Brazil beat Portugal. Czech Republic beating Portugal. Portugal 3 finals in a row. The 3rd final in a row they lost against Sweden. Czech Republic winning again there against England. And Sweden beating Germany. That's 3 World Cups now. And the most recent runner-up position. So Sweden have absolutely dominated. They've absolutely taken it in terms of who has done the better. And, well, Malmo could have got something, but no, it's AIK. AIK have definitely got a Champions League. I'm going to say it now. What would be perfect is a Vålerenga AIK final in the Champions League. That would be satisfying, right? Let's go and have a look then. So here we go. In 2172, Bayern, Liverpool. So we're just going to scroll through at a bit of a pace now. Oh, when AIK beat Porto in 2095-96. Much later than I thought, to be honest. And no one from Norway's come runner-up. This is the first time someone's got to the final. And then AIK got to the final again a couple of years later, losing to Real Madrid. And then they've won again against Inter, so perennial finalists now. Again, runner-up against United. Vålerenga coming runner-up in 21-06-07. Come on, Vålerenga. Sneaker Champions League. We're running out of time. Bodo Glimt's runner-up. No! Norway haven't got a Champions League to the name. Sweden have 2. Sweden have taken the experiment. Sweden have taken it. Europa League then. Aachen, Swedish team. Djurgårdens, Swedish team. So the Europa League's been Malmo, Swedish team. Malmo again back here. Elfsborg, Gothenburg, Malmo again. Elfsborg again. Vålerenga won a Europa League in 2096-97. Molde coming runner-up. Bodo Glimt coming runner-up. So Norway have managed to get a Europa League, but to be fair, they got some Europa Leagues early doors with Rosenborg, didn't they? But it's been taken over by Sweden. They've absolutely dominated the experiment. In terms of Ballon d'Ors then, let's have a quick look at Footballer of the Year. So Martin Engholm, currently Swedish, winning it. Gianluca Esposito, Vålerenga, Italian. Isaac Antonsen in 2096 for AIK, Swedish. Swedish again, Rickard Englund for PSG in 2088. Joachim Ederson, who was 31 years old playing for Real Madrid striker, he got 3rd place that year. And the year after, Rickard Englund was 2nd. Jakob Alder for Sweden. Yeah, and it's going to be a lot more Swedish players because of the dynamic youth rating. How is the youth rating for Sweden then? The generated players has dropped to 189, but look, they've obviously taken the experiment. How's Norway's doing? I think they started on 88. I think I checked that. It was 88. It's gone to 90 in 100 years. With all that money. Oh, it's not very good, is it? And obviously some of those teams will have improved their youth facilities massively with all that money. So, yeah, just shows how hard it can be to build a nation. Well, that's going to be the end of this experiment. Let's get Sweden back up. They've won the experiment. Let's give them the glory. 3 World Cups. There you go. I'm hovering over it so you can see in 2082, 2106 and 2114, Sweden won the World Cup. They won 2 Euros. AIK won a couple of Champions Leagues. You know what? Very fun one, this one. I really enjoyed making it, and I enjoyed the comparative nature and almost the competition, pitting one against the other. I wasn't really rooting for a side, but when Norway pulled ahead early on, which I expected might happen because of the money and all that jazz, well, I thought, to be honest, the reputation and the money I thought would be more domestic success. I was surprised they won a World Cup. And then I expected Sweden to come back with their youth players, especially internationally. And, you know, I thought they'd be neck and neck in terms of European trophies. And I think they probably were. Maybe Norway had the edge in the first 50 years, but the second 50 years was when Sweden really came into their own because they were generating just so many youth players that their squad was just world class throughout. So yeah, a fun one from my perspective. I hope you enjoyed it too. So yeah, drop a like on the video if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to the channel. Pushing for 2,000 subscribers. Don't think we'll be there by the time this comes out. If we are, keep going. Let's go for 3,000, keep 5,000, 10,000. I'm going to keep going. Thank you very much for everyone who's watched and subscribed and liked and all that jazz. Leave a comment down below of ideas that you've got that you would like to see. Something else along these lines. Two nations that you want to see pitted against each other. They must have the leagues in the base game. That's my only rule. So yeah, if you want to, and make it even. I don't want to see the English Premier give the English Premier League loads of money versus a good youth rating for the Northern Irish League, because that would be boring. Norway and Sweden one league was slightly better than the other, and one national team was slightly better than the other. They were both of a similar sort of nature in terms of their abilities. So yeah, if you want to see something else like this, give me some nations to compare against each other, and I will do it again because I enjoyed it. I really did. Any other ideas as well, though? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, then why don't you go back and watch? Oh, we did a couple with Sweden. Yeah, I'll put them both up. Match youth rating or loads of money with Sweden. Which one would do better? Both of them are there to watch. Go and choose. Take care of yourselves, gang. I'll see you soon.